Back here on Earth, reporters from a coalition of great outlets sorted through millions of records to expose redlining. That's the practice of preventing people of color from living in certain neighborhoods by denying them mortgages, which, let's admit, would never happen on Sesame Street. The reporting in Kept Out forced banks to open branches in many underserved areas. I was gonna say it's not a sequel to Get Out, but actually, kinda?
Housing discrimination was totally legal until the 60s. The Fair Housing Act outlawed it. But that law didn't solve the whole problem. The federal government shaded some neighborhoods red, warning banks not to make loans there. They said it would be financially hazardous because some areas were, and I quote, infiltrated by Negroes. While the Fair Housing Act banned discrimination, banks still weren't making home loans to African Americans.
This process, in a lot of ways for me, was really disempowering. It was humiliating. And that's where a lot of my bitterness comes from. I was made to feel like nothing that I was contributing was of value.
Here to accept the Peabody Award is Emmanuel Martinez.
Thank you so much. This story doesn't happen without Rachelle Ferrul, who courageously entrusted us to tell her story. So I think it's much better that you hear from her as opposed to me.
Thank you so much, thank you. And it's an honor to follow Sesame Street. Thank you, Sesame Street, for daring all of us to dream. Gaslighting, this term means manipulating a person or people into questioning their sanity, memory, or perception. The very serious function of racism is to keep you explaining over and over again your reason for being, while those in positions of power tell you your experiences are not real. I'd like to personally thank Emmanuel, Aaron, Laura, Ray, and the entire team from the Reveal podcast, PRX, the Associated Press, and PBS NewsHour for speaking truth to power and shedding light on the ways that racism denies us the basic human right to housing. Finally, I'd like to thank my mom, Dr. G, general of the small but mighty village of folks from Barbados, West Indies, who gave me the courage to tell my story. Palante. Thank you.